Alright, hello everyone and welcome. Let's, I'm gonna, let's go. Alright, 100%. So, hey Oric, welcome, how's it going? So, this is going to be tutorial for 100% no major glitches. This is kind of just sort of fly by the seat of my pants and not really going to, I don't really have a big plan. It's mostly just going to be me talking as while doing a playthrough with save states. So I am doing pretty well. So I'm going to be using save states and stuff, so hopefully I won't need a lot of luck. Basically, first things first, you want to exit to the left, and I'm going to get the magic container. It's a little bit of a safety to get it this early, but it lets you cast life in Dark Death Mountain. So this is a route that requires Dark Death Mountain, and kind of assumes you already have some familiarity with Zelda 2 speedrunning, so we get that and up A. Then we're gonna go get the trophy. You could also at this time get the shield spell if you wanted that safety as well. Just get the shield spell and up A. I personally leave it until later, but it actually doesn't lose anything. Oh, let me, I forgot how I do this cave. So, do that. There we go. Then we up A. Save that state. So now we get, next place is the jump spell, Jump Town of Ruto. So, and it's real nice. You get all these things and up A. So you get a lot of free walks, basically. You always want to be leaving North Palace to the left, which is different from all keys where you leave to the right. It saves one frame, and it's good for some... Basically, because the RNG is frame-based, it helps with some scripted walks and stuff, so... And the nice thing about this, you can hold up A to buffer the save and quit here. When it pulls up the menu, you'll immediately do it. Alright, so now that we've got the jump spell, it's time to go into Jump Cave. And honestly, the general consensus is that Jump Cave in the dark is the hardest part of this run. So... dealing with the gorillas in the dark is a big pain. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a save state right here, and then come into the cave. So, how do I do this now? I forget how to do this. It's been a long time. I should have practiced. This is not going to be a good tutorial. Okay. Try to block those boomerangs the best you can. You could take life 2 here. The thing I'll show you in my splits here, we're on this, well, Life Town, but then we're going to go to Magic, get the hammer and the Magic Cave to up A. We want to have 3, 1, 2 by then. I personally like to save Life 2 until later in Death Mountain, so I'm gonna skip it. Some people, if you've already taken damage, might choose to take it now. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip that. Okay, the one thing, all these enemies take 2 hits to kill, and you kind of want to kill those louders because the Gorilla takes so many hits to kill. So next thing, I'm going to save the state here before I go into the next room. So what we want to do is cast jump and avoid taking damage. So there's some visual cues I'll try to point out. But you cast jump there with 2 tiles away, and then wait till about 2 tiles past the platform are going off screen, and then you jump and do a stab in case that Aikman is there. That's kind of my visual cue. So now that we've got that, I'll show off a little safety since we never really get the swamp one up. Well, 2 things. I'm going to go ahead and get the Ferry to refill my life. But then also, since just a little bit of a safety, you can grab the swamp one up now on your way to Bagoo. So let's go there and do that. You're probably going to take an encounter. I got lucky, but I usually take an encounter on the way there, and then now we just have to get out of here. Yeah. And now over to Bagoo. Alright, so... GTM, thank you for the host. So we talked to Bagoo, and now head out to Lifespell, and it's important. One thing that I think probably everyone who runs this game has done, or this category, or a category like it that uses up A's, is you will want to up A when you get the life spell. Don't do that. So, Saria is just like normal. We're gonna come in here and grab the mirror. One thing, if you're coming from an all keys background, particularly higher level all keys runners tend to avoid refilling their magic in town. Since we're not going to be taking a magic level, I would, and if you got that magic container, if you didn't get the magic container, you can skip the refill. But if you got the magic container so you can cast life, then I would recommend refilling your magic before you leave town, because in the dark, it's real hard to avoid damage, especially from things like bots and aches. So alright. So now we know Bagoo, so we can cross the river. And now we're headed into Death Mountain. So this is I think, honestly, Death Mountain's not as hard as people make it out to be, especially if you are comfortable, like if you can get through Jump Cave consistently without dying, you should be okay through Death Mountain. So I made a save state so I can reload and stuff like that, but we're gonna go in here. You got 2 bots to worry about. They jump down because they're jerks. So I like to be kind of aggressive with the moblins. You can, if you keep your beams past the bots, it's quite alright to just sit there and shoot beams at them to keep them at bay. It's a little bit slower, but if you're worried about survivability, and keeping your beams can really help you through Death Mountain. Again, this is another opportunity. You could take life if you haven't already. I'm gonna skip because I want to get attack first, so I like to get the attack level as early as possible. So I'm gonna cancel, and remember there's a bot here and then another bot right here. And okay, I'm gonna make a save state here and make sure my laptop doesn't go hide the screen on me again. Okay, so now coming in here, you have to hit these twice. So you can do the rising crouch stab into a regular falling standing stab, jump over that Gorilla, take that one out, and you can jump over like that, and you're good. So you might want to cast life to get beams for this next cave. I'm gonna go ahead and forego that. Also, a lot of people want to save the life cast for later, so I'm gonna just go ahead and make a save state in case I need to do this again. You really want to try to kill at least 2 enemies in here so you don't despawn the orange Daira. It's going to be a lot of hits. Double hits really come in handy. If you're lucky and got like a 50-point P-bag drop, you could also, or possibly killing the blue Gorilla in the previous room. Those are options that could potentially get you attack 2 before fighting that Daira. I'm going to go ahead and take this attack 2. And then here we go onto the bridge. Should have save stated before coming in here. I'll save state after this for sure. Just basically take it slow, avoid taking damage from the rocks. That's the main thing there. Okay, now we're in here. This cave with the bots can be a bit of a nightmare. Okay, I misread where the Daira was on the floor. Okay, so we got through him. I'm gonna take the life level now since I'm at beep strats. Perfect time to do it. We'll have beams going into the next cave. Which is probably, in my opinion, the worst cave in Death Mountain. So I'm going to go make a save state. And I like to do neutral jumps to pull out the Gorilla so that I can try to avoid having to also deal with the ache at the same time. I'm going to cancel and try to get through here. So I don't have a real great strategy for doing that. Gonna cancel here and keep going. Now we're in the room with the bits and the orange Dairas. So chaining it, that's a little bit more in-depth than I want to get into with this tutorial. Chaining double hits does save some time, particularly at low level where you're having to do a lot of hits, but honestly, when you're first learning the category, there's a lot of other things that are going to be more important. I wouldn't worry about chaining the double hits. If you're doing double hits with a single hit in between, that's not honestly that big of a difference between chaining double hits, and honestly you can get super good times without chaining them as well. So okay, got a P-bag, which is good. That actually is real nice. I'm gonna cast life now, and what also my levels are at a real nice point where I'm going to actually do neutral jumps over these Dairas to save some time since I got that. Since I got the P-bag. So I'm going to go ahead and make a save state before going into here. One thing I like to do is I like to pull this Daira out, so I do some neutral jumps. I like to have beams for this next part. Attack 3 is also really good now. So at this point, I don't actually... Actually, what am I thinking? What I want to do, because of my levels, I don't actually want to fight that, so I'm going to leave and come back. That despawns the Daira. Because we'll get we have to take out an orange Dyra later. So that's just standard, like all keys, that part. Same for coming up here, although you, I think the Megmats take 2 hits right now, which is, I'm probably not going to try to kill them on the way down, if I just stun them and go through. Yeah. So we'll get attack 3 off of that orange Dyra. And then now we have a red Dyra to take out because you don't want the axe in the face on your way back. So, okay, again, skipping levels. At this point, you could potentially take another level, but I honestly wouldn't recommend it because like in Palaces 1 and 2, this route does not really kill anything, and so you'll have to kill a bunch more stuff. Also, this room, there's the orange Dyra. If you leave and come back, we'll despawn him. We don't want to actually have to kill him. So I'll do that, and then plan is to take a death abuse from the red Dyra. So after we get the hammer. So get the hammer, step down. Normally you'd probably actually want a little bit less health there. So now, on our way back out, hey Cheese, hey Highlander. So then, now we have the Megmats here. I don't remember exactly how you do that, but without taking damage. We have the magic to cast life, though, to get out of here. And again, it's basically the same as all keys, you just kind of have to practice it without the visual. Next thing, we go in, we get the magic container, and we up A. So, all the way through the 3rd split. The next one, my split, MDSFSH, is a little bit of a word salad. It's a shorthand for remembering the little fetch quest. So M is medicine, DS is downstab, F is Ferry, SH is shield. You could potentially also get the cave heart here. However, I like to save the cave heart until after Palace 2 because of some death abuses I do in Palaces 1 and 2. Having lower health means you take the death abuses faster. So, but if you find that you're accidentally dying too much, you could get that cave heart earlier. So, gonna go ahead, continue, and we're gonna go on and get the medicine. So one thing, I'm gonna queue up jump here because we'll actually use the jump spell to help get the medicine. So break the block, and then basically this is the scripted walk that Anti-85 came up with, and I believe Light helped with that as well. So go down here, and then walk up here, and we're in free. So it's nice because the RNG resets on up A. Okay, because the RNG resets on up A, you can just do that scripted walk every time. Jump is queued up. We're gonna just cast it and jump over the Dyras in this next room, and then up A at the medicine. So just come in here, queue, jump, do neutral jumps over the enemies, and you want to watch the axes, and perfect. Now we're gonna go over to Ruto and try to get the downstab in the Ferry. Pay attention for when I break the second boulder. I'm going for an audio cue. I'll actually make a save state of it so I can try it again if I miss it to show. There, I got it, so I didn't even need the save state. But if you listen to that audio cue when I broke the boulder, how the music goes, I'm not a very musical person, so it's hard for me to articulate exactly what's going on there. But if you break the boulder at that point, you'll get a back spawn because of the RNG resetting at up A. So now we come in here to get downstab. This is, again, pretty much like everything you're used to, except we're gonna up A at the Ferry spell. And, so once again, I'll just mention the nice thing about the up A is when you get add a spell, is when you obtain the spell menu comes up automatically. And that means you can actually buffer your up A input on the second controller. So basically what I do is once the old man starts talking, I just reach over and hold up A on my second controller. And then once I get the spell, it just automatically does the up A for me, although this time, before, I usually want to make sure to select the Ferry spell first. Otherwise, you have to remember to select it again later, because you don't want to accidentally cast the jump spell when you mean to cast Ferry. And it's just slightly faster to do it here. It's one up input versus if we do it at the shield spell, if you all have jump queued, you'll have to move twice. So we'll just up A there and continue. So now, shield spell, I get it now just because this is a thing. It could be gotten after Palace 1 or 2. I don't really have a strong reason why I get it now, but you just do it between up A's, and it doesn't gain or lose any time no matter where you put it, so I just decided to include it with all of the other collection quests going on here. And yes, so the spell that you select is stored after an up A. So if you'll notice, I haven't opened up the spell menu since I selected Ferry last time, so I'll wait to up A here so you can see that Ferry is still selected. That's a good question. So Ferry's still selected, which is good. We're going to use Ferry a lot in Palace 1. So continue. Now this is the main, up until this point, my route is basically the same as the route Simple uses. He might do some slightly different things with the collection quest than I do. I don't know exactly. But here we have a scripted walk to Palace 1. Try not to bonk in the cave. And then you can always enter the palace without taking an encounter. So I just go up and right, and then once I get even here, I just walk up to the water and then over, and I'm in. So the thing here is I really try to kill as little as possible in this palace. This is why I do the route this way. What the difference between my route and Simple's, I avoid killing basically everything I can in Palaces 1 and 2 in exchange for losing an attack level. So I just jump over that enemy. We're gonna come down here. We have downstab, so you can downstab over stuff. Jump over that. The damage doesn't really matter. Then we're gonna take a Death Abuse in the next room. You can either do it on the bots or by jumping into the lava. I usually do it in the bots. I haven't timed it out which is faster. But we want to grab this magic container. And then queue up Ferry again, and we're just gonna take some damage and get the candle. You want to make sure you don't die before you get the candle. So we're doing this to basically as a way of managing our magic. Now, you did notice that I'm on my last life now, so that's the risky part about this, is if you mess up, you could end up taking a death, taking a game over even. So, okay. Queuing up Ferry for the last door. We don't collect any keys. Don't worry about killing the Stalfos. There's an orange iron Knuckle we'll have to kill, so we'll just deal with that. Game overs are allowed, yes. They just lose time. So, now you'll notice we have 102 experience. Horsehead gives 50. That means we've already got all the experience we need to get attack 4. So, that's why I do it this way. I skip enemies here. And then now we're gonna do a chewy skip with a Ferry. So you stab him and cast Ferry and then fly under him. And then go in to Horsehead, be real careful, you only have attack 3, you have no magic, and... Oh, dang it. Okay, so there we go. Right, so then we're going to queue up Ferry again on the gem placement. So during that fanfare, you can queue up a spell and not lose any time. We'll take attack 4. And then now we gotta go get the heart container. So we're gonna head south. I usually stop right here and wait. And then I go to the left after they've committed. And then I come down and I'm gonna make a save state here. And we're gonna do the fairy feet technique. So I'll try to explain that. Basically, it's the quick way to get through this encounter. If you only get one chance at it. If you fail it, you have to go through the encounter normally. So you come in, just cast Ferry immediately. Then you want to do like 1 frame taps to the left, quick little taps. Once you see the Ferry disappear, push back to the right, and you skip it. And then we come in, grab the heart container, and up A. So that's Palace 1, and now we're headed to Palace 2. Fairy feet is possible on emulator, yes. So now we're headed to Palace 2, and it's going to be a lot of the same thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and go. Oh, I'm walking to the right. I shouldn't. I want to walk to the left, because I have kind of a scripted walk here. So I'm going to try this again. I'll make a save state there. So we walk left, and we're just going to head straight to the boulder. And here you want to try to break the boulder as quickly as possible. Waste as few frames as possible, basically. So that's not the best. But come over and go into this cave and just hold left to leave immediately. And then you walk down here. This is not a great... Oh no, this is okay. So with this, then I come here and I'm going to take a half encounter there. And then I can come back here this way. So what I did there, you get different patterns based on how many frames you delay at the boulder. Some of them are better than others. There are a couple of patterns that you can get all the way to the palace without taking an encounter at all. It's just a matter of learning the patterns and learning the route to walk through them. That's a thing I plan to put out another video about, like explaining all of that, because I've actually tasked out all of those for various different delays. So I am... So the cave resets the spawn timers. I do that regardless of the boulder break. So I do that to force the first spawn in the swamp where I did. So I'm going to go ahead and save the state here. And then so we're just walking to the left. We actually have to cast Ferry through here because we don't have any keys. So I usually bounce off of that first bot and then cast Ferry. And then I'm going to save state. I'm going to save state on a lot of these rooms because the Palace 2 is kind of risky. You have a spare life, which is good. But also, with only life 2, attack 4, Helmet Head's a little bit tougher than in all keys. So I'm going to go ahead and make a save state. Come in here. I usually throw a beam on a rising stab. I might wait just to make sure I can get across there to keep beam. But that's, you know, try to get through here without taking damage. Then I'm going to make a save state before the next room. There's a strat I do to skip both of the enemies in the next room. There are a couple different ways to do it. But basically we need the beam to stun lock the skull bubble. So that's basically that strat. I'm gonna load the state again and I'll show you if I don't have beams what I do. So I still jump over that enemy. I'll do one hit on that Iron Knuckle and jump over. Okay, I really want to keep beam. Actually, it doesn't really matter because we're going to take a death abuse. I just want to do it without taking damage. Oh, whatever. So we do that, get through there. Now you want to get this jar because we need to cast Ferry again. So then we come through here. At this point, also, I should point out, Helmet Head gives 200 experience. The threshold is to get attack is 150. So we don't actually need to kill anything in this palace to get attack 5. Well, I forgot. I do take magic 2 in here now. I didn't used to do that. So, never mind. There are a couple things that are kind of hard to avoid killing anyway, so I'll grab that pea bag, queue up Ferry, and then here I usually do the jump and Ferry to get the moonwalk, and just fly straight through them, grab the glove, and take a death abuse to refill magic. Alright, so I don't think I needed to take him out. Actually, I'm gonna go back and do that without taking him out. Sorry, I should have save stated. So I'll take, basically we need to get 200 experience in the palace before the boss, because we need 100 for magic 2 and then 100 to get over the 300 XP threshold. So I'll skip you. The thing is, we can't really take out that Moa, so I think so it's possible to skip those enemies, but it's kind of frustrating, so with the Moa there, I usually just take them out to get the experience. It also means that you can take the extra magic level, makes experience a little bit less tight in Palace 3, so we come in here, and then at this point I usually take out this Doom Rattler because we need 100 XP. Okay, that's not ideal. What? Okay. So now we're just gonna jump over all the enemies. Queue up Ferry for the next room. We'll basically... I usually just pogo off of that enemy and cast Ferry, then the 2 Iron Knuckles moonwalk away from you, and you don't have to worry as long as you fly high enough to be above their swords. I'll go ahead and make a save state here before the fight, but then it's just Helmet Head. It's the normal Helmet Head fight. That was not exactly as clean as I would have liked, but it worked. So, got over the threshold to get attack 5. So, what Simple Dude does is he actually does Palace 2 first, and will get attack, kill a bunch of enemies, and hope for a P-Bag to get attack 5 out of here, and then go into Palace 1 to get attack 6, and basically be on the same leveling route as all keys. So I kind of follow that just down an attack level. So that makes some of the things coming up in my route a bit harder to do, because you might not be used to being a lower attack level. But I'm gonna go ahead, you wait until you get the level up, take the level up, then up A. So, and then we'll continue, and now now is when I do the Cave Heart. You could do it earlier if you wanted, you could do it later if you wanted. Hi, Wizrobes. Yes, this is a tutorial for this category, and I did Dark Death Mountain at the very start. I forgot. Oh, I didn't make a save state. Let me... Okay. I'll do this again. I'll make another save state, and basically what you do is you want to have Ferry queued up, and we'll just ferry through the first room of the Heart Container Cave. So hold left, and it's basically a free walk to the cave, so as you saw before. So just down and right, and then basically I just cast Ferry. Doesn't really matter if you take damage. If you keep moving, you're not gonna die. And then get the Heart Container and up A. Now on to Palace 3. And here we want to try to do the audio cue on the second boulder break again. So, oh, that was a bit of a longer delay. I messed that up, but okay. I'm gonna save state. Oh, there we go. So then you do that, you can walk. I should have actually gone here. You take the encounter right there, and then you can come straight down into the cave. Cast Ferry, because you had it queued up, and then in we go. Just take out the enemies. Normal walk here to the palace. I usually stop in this corner for the spawn to get in there. Okay, I'll make a save state here. So the thing is, it's like we want to get Life 3 and Magic 3, but we're also skipping some key rooms. So you gotta be careful about your level ups. So I will try here. I usually try for a jar. If I don't get it, I'll just take out the enemy. Then usually take out him as well. Just get the attack level. And you could switch it up and change which enemies you kill. Your 6 counts reset on an up A, so don't worry about that either. Jump over the first tin suit to despawn a Mew. There's normally, if you kill the first tin suit, there are 4 Mews there. Walking through here. So there's a red iron knuckle we don't kill coming up, so I'm gonna take this guy out as well to make up for the red iron knuckle coming up that we don't kill. Jump here. Okay, you're walking all the... Okay, don't know how I did that. Normal thing, we don't have to go... I forgot I can do that enemy because we don't go to get the key. We grabbed 1 key already. I'm gonna save state before this next room. So, in the next, if you'll notice, we don't have any keys, but we're about to get a magic level. So, don't grab the key in the next room because we want it on the way back. So that's very important. Skip the key in the next room. So it's habit to downstab that, but you really want to avoid that. So okay, so we got the magic level, and then so the other thing that I'll do is I'll take out this first iron knuckle, and then actually I'm going to cast Ferry now, because I actually want to take a death abuse from this iron knuckle. Refills magic, and it's a little bit faster. So queue up jump for the way back here. Okay, let's try that again, because I don't want that death. So again, skip this key, take this iron knuckle out for the magic level. I should have save stated before the way back on this room because it's a bit of a pain. So Ferry's queued up. Cast Ferry. Actually, okay, so I'll queue up jump and save state here. So jump makes this room a little bit safer, although it's not perfect, as you saw on my last attempt. Here, so that's a neat little trick there. You can do that rising crouch stab to grab that key. It's a small optimization. Do it if you feel comfortable. It's possible you miss it and have to go back and get it anyway. Or you can stab it and then do the jump over anything, really, whatever you're comfortable with. Oh. Okay, that's real bad. I'm gonna check. Oh, I got the Never Jar. I'm gonna just go ahead and cast Life. So, here's the thing. I will take out this red iron knuckle. We have the key that we didn't get on the way in. Gonna grab the P bag, which helps because we need 399 experience, so you gotta be kind of watching your experience. Hey Uno Squid, welcome. You've got to be watching your experience to see if you need to take out an extra Doom Knocker or the blue Iron Knuckle before the boss. We need 700 experience, and Rebenek gives 301, so you need 399 going into the boss. Thanks! I had a lot of fun with it. So, right, so we have to cast Ferry, I forgot about that. So you ideally don't want to have to come back into this room to kill this Doom Knocker. I usually just fly over. Unfortunately, I didn't time that quite right. You can get through there without taking damage. I'm gonna just go ahead and save state here. So, coming over here, 3 hits there. If you needed additional, what you could do is come down here, do jump standing stabs so you don't accidentally break those blocks below you. That's not actually necessary, so that's why I'm coming over here, just doing that red iron knuckle and going into the boss. So you'll notice 1 attack level down. That I forget how many hits that is for Rebenak, but I would really recommend not trying to fight him straight up at this point. With attack 5, I will do corner strats on him. So also I have enough magic to cast shield. I'm a little bit down on life, so I'm gonna do that as well. So I'm gonna make a save state just before, cast shield. Then you line up on this pixel right here. Right about there, and then you can just bounce in the corner. Okay. Unfortunately, Rebenak didn't stay in the corner. That can happen, but that can happen in all keys as well with the extra attack level. So here we're just gonna skip and get attack 7, or attack 6 rather. So gonna scroll down a little bit on so this one actually so I haven't made this change yet, but according to the stuff that Simple has done, it's actually faster not to up A at Reflect Town if you're gonna do Fairy Feet. So what I will do then is take the attack level and then up A. And so the big thing, though, is you have to keep track of your small drop, or you'll have to take a Death Abuse in Palace 4. So Palace 4 is a little bit tricky. So here we're going to make the walk. We have that audio cue on the boulder break again coming up. So first thing, we gotta go get the kidnapped child. So, gonna make a save. Okay, got the back spawn anyway. But that helps for getting the spawn that you want here. You get basically a free walk to the cave. You come down, get the double back spawn, and you can go. So now here we go. Use your beams. This is, at this point then, it's just the same walk as all keys. So you can either ferry. I think it's actually faster to save the ferry for Fairy Feet. So I'm gonna kill the Lizalfos and not ferry the item. So I'm gonna queue it up though. So I have Ferry queued up to Fairy Feet the second encounter. So we're gonna Dazzle Walk back. Oh, I realized. Oh, shoot. Okay, so my small drop counts at 1. You were supposed to kill both of the Aikman, or all 3 of the Aikman in that cave. So I need 2 more small enemy kills. But we grab the 1-up, and then it's just the Dazzle Walk, so. I don't think I got that. Okay, so that's 1. I just need... so I guess I'll come in here and I'll Fairy Feet. Let me... Okay. Okay, so now here we are in the town. I'm casting Jump just to use up a little bit of extra magic, so I can refill magic all the way. Okay, and then just doing Fairy Claws. Hold down when you cast Fairy to go down the chimney, just like all keys. So, my splits are wrong here. I'm not actually gonna up A. So I still have one more small enemy to kill. Because basically we want to try to set up a small drop on a Mew on the Crumble Bridge, which sounds scary, and it kind of is. If you don't get the blue jar, you just take a Death Abuse into the lava, which is why we want that 1-up. If you're gonna up A, that's one point. If you're gonna up A when you get Reflect, don't get the 1-up on your way to do the Dazzle Walk. Instead, do a couple stabs to waste some time and grab the 1-up on your way into Palace 4. Just because you need that if you need to have a Death Abuse. Because there's unfortunately a lot of Death Abusing that you need to do in Palace 4. So now we get the Reflect spell, and we're going to do the same trick that we do in all keys. When do I... Oh, right, okay. So we're going to do the same trick that we do in all keys, where we read the sign. For the first 3 letters, I'll just go ahead and make a save state. And then come out and skip the first encounter. Okay, so now my drop count should be correct. That damage is not really that bad, and we're gonna Fairy Feet the next encounter, so just walk right in. Fairy Feet. Oh, why'd I... Okay, so now... Ah, dang it. Okay. Why'd I... Shoot, now this is real scary. Okay. Okay. Okay, made it into the maze. Didn't kill any additional small enemies, so our drop is at 3, which is where you want it when you go into the palace. So... Okay, so then I actually can't cast Fairy here. I'm gonna cast Life. Just to refill a little bit of health, because I was really low. But we will need to take a Death Abuse in Palace 4. So, Simple does a Fairy Feet here, but then has to get a jar inside from the entrance of Palace 4. So, I don't like that so much, so... I hope I have enough magic, though. I might actually... I might need to do some math to see if that was actually... if I still need the... Because I don't know if I have enough to cast Fairy and Jump. Let's do some math real quick. So, Fairy is 60, Jump is 32, so that's 3... No, I need, or 6, that's 2, and then almost 4. I need a red jar, so luckily I got it. Okay, so then we come down and we do Carrick first. This is kind of interesting about this palace. So come in, queue up Ferry, try not to die, although a little bit of damage here isn't the worst. Queue up Jump, and get this key. Okay. And again, we need 399 XP going into the boss, so take out the Iron Knuckle, and then now we're actually going to have to take a Death Abuse in this next room. So I don't like to take damage from the tin suits because they are going to take your XP, but okay. So I actually okay, so cast Ferry. Then here, the hope is the second Mew is going to be a jar. I should actually save state. So, okay, I miscounted my drop somewhere, so if you do the drop correctly, something I killed was not a drop group. Probably the lever? Whoops. So I didn't... This is what you would do if you got a P bag instead of a drop. I didn't kill the bot in the maze, thank you. So yeah, you do want to kill the bot in the maze so that your drop is 4 coming in here. I missed that, so what you do is, we don't have enough to ferry through that locked door, so you just come up here, drop into the lava. You could go back and try again, but I wouldn't recommend it. So now, can ferry, and I'm actually going to be a little bit short on XP by 10. So I'm going to actually come back to the left to take out one of these. So, because you need 399. Oh, no, wait. Yeah. No, I would have been fine. I didn't need to do that. I can't math right now, apparently. So I didn't need to go back and take out that enemy. Oh, shoot, I forgot I needed to die. I was supposed to Death Abuse, take some damage, and then Death Abuse on the Iron Knuckle. Let's try this again. So, do this correctly now. Ferry's queued up. We then take our Death Abuse. So, queue up, cast Ferry. So then what I do is I usually just hang out, take a few hits, and then come into here, queue up Reflect, and then just walk right into that Iron Knuckle for a Death Abuse. So you need that for your final level up, or for your magic for Carrick. So we take those guys out, and now we're above the threshold. Reflect is queued up, so I'm gonna save the state just in case we get a real bad Carrick pattern. So this is one life level lower than you would be fighting Carrick in all keys. So it's a little bit riskier, but you have shields, so got it. We skip. So nice thing about this, we don't have to hang around to up A at the crystal placement. So queue up Ferry, and then just leave to the right, and we're gonna re-enter the palace. So if you didn't get or if you did get the blue jar, you'd be able to ferry and wouldn't need to death abuse in the lava like I did. So, okay, so now we go to the right. We're just gonna head straight to the boots. Alright, so don't bother trying to jump that gap because you actually want to fall down. And then we just skip the enemies. I usually will jump over these enemies and then cast Ferry. Take in a little bit of damage, doesn't matter because you up A at the boot. And now we're headed to Palace 5. So we'll continue. You could get the heart container before Palace 5. I get it after. Likewise with the fire spell. So again, we're going to try to do the boulder break audio cue. Okay, got it. And then now we should be able to walk cleanly. Okay. Alright, and then, so here is... I'm not gonna ferry, or I'm not gonna do eco key. You can, but if you miss it, you have to either grind out a blue jar to be able to ferry the locked door, or go back to get the key. So I'm just gonna do the normal way, the quote unquote intended solution. You could eco key. You could ferry it and then, or yeah, you could ferry it and then get a blue jar. There's actually, oh, dang it. I'll try it. So I'll show one thing. I forgot to save state at the entrance, so. Okay, so one thing about this next, not this room, but the next room, there are actually 5 ropes in there, not 4. So I'm gonna just save state right here. So one thing you could do, and I guess I'll just show it. So if you take out this first rope and then wait before advancing, a 5th rope spawns there. So we took out 5 ropes. That means we only have 1 more rope to get a small drop. So, or 1 more small enemy to get a small drop. There's a blue dripper in the IK locked door room. So, I'm gonna just ferry, and I'll do this and show what you can do. You could walk back to get the key, and that's guaranteed 100%. Or you could eco key, and that's not guaranteed. In which case, if you try to do eco key and fail, you have to go back and get it. Get the key. Or you can ferry, not go back and get the key, but kill 5 ropes, so that then in this next room, you have to wait for a bot to come from the dripper. Also attack 7, you have to hit those twice. I'll take my life 4. So I got the jar, and then, okay. So that means I can now ferry through here. So, skipping this key, that's why you don't need to worry about getting a magic level up like you do in all keys, because you just skip that key. Refill the magic. Thanks for the good luck, Yeti. So, wait, that's not right. You go left here. I was thinking I was a couple rooms ahead. Right? Yeah. I was thinking I was coming off of this elevator, which was wrong. So, cast jump. This enemy takes 2 hits now. Although cast is not super important, but he's your drop, assuming you kill everything the way I did. Basically, also the thing with this is with attack 7, you have your attack level up is at 8,000 instead of 9,000, and so what I do is I don't take magic 4, and I try not to kill any Magos so I can get the level up in Firetown. So it's kind of tight and risky, and it doesn't say it saves, like 4 to 6 seconds. But it's what I try to do. So now we got that key, so we can just go straight through here. We don't have enough magic to ferry twice, so we'll actually have to, what I do is, then we come in here, Death Abuse at the flute. One thing to note, it's also possible to do Guma first and then get the flute after and up A. The route that I do does not up A after Palace 5, but that's another option. If you're going to up A after the flute, then you also have to worry about when you're going to get the heart container and when you're going to get the fire spell. So you can play around with that as well. Then heading out of here, it's a little bit risky. You want to avoid all those flames. Those Magos are jerks and not very nice. Ouch. Okay. And then, so we have to Ferry here. We don't actually have enough for... Okay. So then we'll get that. And then... Oh. Ooh, I'm just a little bit short on XP now, I think. Or, wait, no, you need 800. Okay, I'm fine. That's right, so we ferry out of here. If you are short of XP, you just need 300 because you need 800 to get to a life 5 level up is at 800. So just gonna queue up shield. I'm gonna go ahead and make a save state too, because Guma with attack 7 and with these levels can be a bit rough. So that's the other thing. If you've only run all keys, you might find Guma with a lower attack to be a little bit of trouble. That was not a very clean Goomba fight, but... So, made it through. I should be able to get out of the next encounter without taking the life level up. So what I would do during the fanfare, queue up Ferry. We're gonna go get the heart container, like in all keys. So try to leave as quickly as possible. We want to get the, basically you want to get the heart container and leave as quickly as possible. If you're below 5,000, you should be good. I was at like 480 or 4,800 when I left, so still good. Or 4,800 when I grabbed the heart container. So it's pretty tight to do that, but then you get the nice level up here in Firetown. So here we're gonna take 3 magic levels. Or actually, it says 777 for 766. I've changed that up. You can do 776. I've started doing taking all of it into magic instead and going for 785. So what I would then do is I'll take life 5 when I get it and then save up my levels to get my XP to get attack or magic 7 off of the gem in Palace 6. So but you could also do that as 766 and then sort of follow and end up doing like a 777 leveling route. I've started doing 785, the lower life level, trading off the life level for a higher magic level for Thunderbird and for Valley Death and Great Palace. It's really a trade-off, so... So now we come out here, have to do the standard, or attempt to do the standard river skip. Okay, I was a little bit slow there, whatever, we'll see what we do. Didn't quite get it, so I'm just gonna go. I'll walk through here. Just get a little extra experience. It's not really necessary, but 2 hits on the Lizalfos isn't that difficult. Gonna queue up Ferry and Ferry through the next 2. And then I'll queue up Fire for the cave for the Tektites. Oh, you're right, I should have been fairy feeding and I just totally forgot. My mind slipped. So, I should have been fairy feeding those encounters. If you miss the fairy feet, then you have to walk through them, though, is the only caveat. So... Right, I forgot about this. They take 2 hits at attack 7 to kill, so I don't... That's why... Now I'm remembering that I don't actually tend to use fire through there. Okay. I actually think I tend to only fairy feet one of the encounters and then walk through the other one, so I can ferry over that room, or maybe I guess the other option is casting jump. Just whatever you're comfortable with. So we're getting pretty close to the end. Queuing up spell. Gotta get the magic key. That's the nice thing. You don't have to worry about your magic drop, like getting a magic drop for ferrying through doors in Palace 6 in this category, like you do in any percent no major glitches. So, yeah, so now we get the magic key. We can ferry it just like in all keys. But yeah, no, those fence encounters, I've been running all keys lately, and that's been on my brain, so I forgot about fairy feeding that. Okay. So... Alright, and then now we just have to get the Coast Heart before heading into Palace 6. So, right here, it does kind of feel a little bit like all keys. And we basically do Palace 6 the same way as all keys, since we don't have to worry about getting keys anymore at this point, so... Oof. So do some stabs, try to get these slinks. I messed it up. I was a little too late. Again, a little too late. But made it in to get the heart container. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna make a save state, queuing up jump. Because first thing we gotta do is go over towards the cross. So, since it's 100%, you gotta get it. Waiting for that life level up. I'll take that now. Make that jump. And then now I'm gonna save up for Magic 8. So, gonna save state here. So, this WizCon room is a pain, as always. So you can do hot strats, you can do whatever strategy you normally do here in this room. That was hot strats. Jump is queued up, so cast jump for the Canadian hole. I actually got that jar drop, which is nice, so full magic and health going into the Rebenak fight. So here with attack 7, I'm going to try to do not a super fast kill, but not terrible. Okay, so I'll show a thing here. If you need a magic drop, there's a little trick. I think Vash found it, or Vash. Let's queue up jump. I don't really need the magic drop because I have full everything. But saving the state here, you can actually come back. You can come to the corner and upstab. Okay, we got the Iron Knuckle, but you can leave and come back. Got the Iron Knuckle again, but you get the point. You can just keep doing that until you get the drop that you want, which would be a red jar. So, just gonna go. And that's doing the loop around. Basically, your sword hitbox is wrapping the screen. Oh, I almost... Okay. And so you can... It's faster than having to walk all the way out there to test that statue. Okay. So, I like to do fire strats coming up. You don't have to if you don't want to. But you do want to take out the unicorn heads. I'm just queuing up fire for it. I might have gotten ceiling walk there. I did. Walking on life bars. Okay, so I'm gonna save state before going into this next room. Show off a couple different strats. I usually go cast fire, jump to down stab. Okay, I kind of messed up because of the Mew. That's one of the downsides. I did that last night, and I don't know how. So you can kind of do that to get through here quicker. If you don't want to do fire strats, what you can do this down stab if you want to or not. Oh, dang it, I was kind of right on the spawn trigger and spawned an extra unicorn head. So, accidentally didn't jump. Okay, you can get a blue jar drop in here, which can help also if you're a little tight on magic. There's enough small enemies you can try to get a blue jar drop in here or on the Mew later. Right, we need to queue up Ferry for the next room. So, come in, cast Ferry, and fly through this room. Try not to take damage from the skull bubbles, because they lose you hit points. Simple has a fancy way of doing this. I still took damage. I don't know how to do that. At this point, my XP is fine. I'll get the magic off of the jar, or off the gem. Coming in here for Rebo 2, gonna do the same kind of fight that I did last time for the cross. Okay, not a great fight, but, you know, faster than you typically will get the corner strats, so... Ferry is queued up. So, I'll save state before the boss to show some stuff off. But with attack 7, it's a little bit harder to get the one cycle on Barba. So I'm going to queue up jump. I'll save state here. Easiest way to get a one cycle on Barba at attack 7 is the jackhammer, and then I had to modify that because I fell off, but so if you try to do the safe one cycle, you're probably going to end up doing a 2 cycle fight. Not the end of the world. I missed there, so okay. Oh, shoot. Okay, so should have been a 2-cycle. So yeah, Jackhammer's risky, but it's faster. Oh, see, I did that. You don't actually want to do the double KO here because you want the experience from Barba. So that's another reason why it's risky. So, and even still, got a 2-cycle at least. So we'll call that good and move on. So skip that level up. We'll get attack, or Magic 8 rather, from the gem. So queue up Ferry. We gotta go get the Thunder spell, so we can Fairy Dash out of here and should be able to... Okay, should be able to cast Ferry again up here. Okay, so you can do that, get 2 Fairy casts, and get your Magic 8 level up. So now 7, 8, 5. Alternatively, that would be a 7, 7, 7 situation. Then go into here. Get our Thunder spell. So another thing to point out is Moas take an extra hit at attack 7, so it's a bit of a pain going through Death Mountain with beams. But you can Fairy Feet through so what I'm going to do, I'm going to come out here, I'm going to save state. So what you would want to do, you'd either Fairy Feet or Fairy across this bridge. I could have Fairy Feeted before. The problem is if you miss it, you're going to have to like walk through something you don't want to. So it's a little bit risky. We'll come back here. Try to Fairy Feet this one as well. I'll save this state too. Okay, got it. Standard entrance. Tavad. Single sword stab. Okay, and then I'm gonna go refill my magic here. Queue up Fairy. And then I'm just gonna Fairy the first encounter that I'm inevitably gonna take. Because it's a free Fairy cast. Then just walk right into here and Fairy Feet. Again, this is a thing where it's a little bit risky to go for. Hey. Fairy Feet again. I'm gonna save the state again. So, we made it. At this point, you should hopefully have 1 extra life as well if you accidentally take a death that you didn't want to. But if you need to refill magic, you can take a death abuse in here. It's a little bit slower. You can also do Valley Death the way that you do it in vanilla. But we took an encounter on this. Do it for an encounter skip. I just Fairyed it. Don't need to worry about XP at all. So I'm just gonna go. And then I'm gonna up A at the entrance. Because we only had 1 life left, I want to have all my lives, all my magic, and everything. So gonna continue. And then now here it's Great Palace, just like you're used to in all keys. You probably are gonna Death Abuse before Thunderbird, or grind for a red jar. You're down an attack level on Thunderbird, so also life 5 things hit a little bit harder than you're probably used to at attack or at life 6, so a couple concerns there. But standard route, you could do alternate route if you wanted to. I don't know that route, so I'm not going to show it off. Nobody really does alternate route, though. So, should probably save some states just so I don't die or something, but okay, made it through there. I'm gonna save state in this room with shield queued up. Okay, that bot was a jerk. You can ferry over the spicy chicken in the next room if you've got the magic. I usually try to skip him. I like to try to use as little magic as possible personally, but that's just myself. Because if you come through here and you only use the jump spell, I'm going to use shield because of my life situation, but if you only use the jump spell through the entirety of Great Palace, then you don't need to Death Abuse and you don't need to grind for a red jar. And so I like to try to do that. Also, you don't have to worry about if you kill too many ropes or whatever, you're probably not going to get above to take another level up accidentally. And if you do, it's a life 6, and sure, take life 6 if you get it. Okay. I'm going to save state again. This next room can be a bit of a pain. These bird knights are jerks. Okay. So, I've actually not done a lot. I still have all my magic, basically. I'm gonna ferry this. I might actually just cast life so I don't accidentally die to here, because you can sometimes get hit by a rogue fireball. Okay. So then... I believe Thunderbird takes 12 hits instead of 8, so it's an extra 4 hits. So you can try to go for the 1 cycle. Obviously you're not going to get it in 1 cycle, so you can try to do it in 1.5 to 2 cycles. I was supposed to die there. I forgot to die in the lava. So I'm going to go over here and just die to this bird knight. That's a 50-50 chance between a bird knight and a red jar, so if you really need it, you can grind that jar or that spot for a red jar. There's a second one further to the left as well. So I'm gonna go ahead, make a save state in here, just to show off a couple different things. So I'm not great at the 1 cycle strat, so... but you can certainly do it. Also with life 5, Thunderbird hits hard. So there we go, we got him that way. You could also do, like, you could do jumpless strats if you know the pendulum, which, honestly, it's, I feel more consistent at the pendulum, even though it's a little bit slower. You just want to make sure Thunderbird stays low over the platform. So you can do it both. You can also do a similar pendulum strat with the jump spell as well. Makes it a little bit easier to get some of the hits in there, but you're in the air longer, you're jumping higher, you're maybe a little bit more vulnerable to fireballs. So then we come into Dark Link, standard Dark Link fight, go to the corner. You can do the manipulation, which is what I tend to try to do. Basically, if Dark Link pauses, you do a standing stab. If he charges you immediately, you do a falling standing stab, is the manipulation. And that's the run. I will highlight this and put it up on YouTube, and link it in the tournament notes and everything. So I did say